Everybody, this is the IRS subreddit episode 1. We've got the administrator and founder of IRS, JohnRDundon, with us. He's going to help me out, get information to you. John, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Got a lot going on, and I'm hoping to get my own taxes done soon and get on with my life and hopefully not sweat that, just like everyone else in the subreddit. The past week was pretty wild. I don't know if you've been you've been working a lot of long hours. I don't know if you've noticed a lot of the wild stuff going on in the subreddit. A lot of people that really counting on the refunds, and they just weren't getting them, and there was problems galore, as you'd expect every year, with people trying to get their taxes in and get the refunds as fast as possible. It's a pretty big population of people on the subreddit. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. And a lot of the new members that come on there are usually coming on from a mobile device. Over 80% of the people on our subreddit are on a mobile or third-party device, so they're not even sitting at computers. When I'm looking at their profile histories, we're the only comments. It's like these people are joining Reddit just to come onto our subreddit, just to try to get an inside track on how to get things done quicker. So we're seeing a lot of that, and then at the same time, a lot of machismo was coming out on the subreddit, and a lot of people were bragging about their refunds, while other people who are just wanting a few $100s to feed their kids and have a cheeseburger were getting their hearts broken. And we both eaten food out of a can as a way of life, and we know how that is. And it's hard to see just like blatant classism occur on the subreddit, so I try to take care of that as quickly as possible. But feelings got
and you do.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Feelings were getting hurt on there, but then in the trolling realm, we had people actually faking their transcripts.
Oh,
and photoshopping them from last year to make it seem like they had gotten their refund early, just to freak out everybody, because the refund got moved to like Friday the 15th, and that was the thing. Everybody, there's one. I don't have all my acronyms down. I'm trying to get along with everyone on the subreddit, but it's like the EITC refund was gonna come out Friday the 15th.
Right.
We have amazing contributors on the subreddit that just help people and answer these questions, and when they try to give out this information, it's hard for them to tell it, because we're having multiple repeats the same post. So we're doing this now with you, so we can create this conduit to put out immediate and quicker information, saying, hey everybody, stop worrying about that refund, it's not coming till the 15th, instead of thousands of people sorting this out through hundreds of the same post.
Right.
So here we are now. Here we
are.
And so we put it out on the subreddit. We put out a post, and it was not warmly received, but we did get some solid. We got a really cool question, didn't we?
We did. We got some good questions.
But let me just tell you, before you get into it, give me a little 2-minute give me the 2-minute Jim Jones version of your life. Tell me, pretend I'm kidding. Just give me your 2-minute spin on what you're about, and be as personal as you want, but I don't want to have your phone number or your social security number yet. But apparently hold on though. Apparently on the subreddit though, Cash App tags are super hot. So a lot of people sharing their Cash App tags hoping to get free money. And I just want to remind everybody, that's a third-party scam. So don't share your Cash App tag on our IRS. So real quick,
don't.
Give us the 2-minute spin, John.
So a little bit about me. I am really just like many of you, a simple man trying to feed his family, and doesn't want to give 1 penny more to the United States government or to any state taxing authority than I am obligated to pay every single year. That's who I am. And that's why I studied the tax code. And one of the distinct competencies that I bring to the community is the fact that I get audited every single year, and I get a clean bill of health every single year. And with that full disclosure, I make sure that if there are any disputed matters that need reconciliation, that I can reconcile them with the taxpayer before we bring them to the attention of the authorities. And so what I'm all about is studying the code, studying the regulations, applying those codes and those regulations to the forms to make sure that you're not paying more than what you're absolutely, again, obligated to pay. And that on the flip side of that, if you're entitled to a refund, that you get as much as possible. So now with that as a backdrop, I'm 58 years old and I've been doing this for going on 20 years now. And so I have quite a number of battle scars that I can share with folks on this subreddit, just from basically going to battle with the IRS over and over and over again on a number of different issues.
I hear you help people with a lot of heavy tax problems. Luckily, we got the subreddit when a lot of people helping out and contributing with every day-to-day problems. And, you know, as far as people waiting on the refunds, inflation's gone up about 30%. A lot of people are hurting and struggling. And, you know, is there any good, solid, generic advice you could offer people in that situation, or anything you could expand upon?
Well, sure. Thank you for doing this, Patrick. I appreciate you for this.
Thank you, John.
I guess I'd like to start with the fact that it appears as though over the course of the last couple of weeks, the IRS has really gotten off their butt and issued a lot of refunds to a lot of folks, and people are starting to get money that were expecting those refunds a while ago. So it appears as though progress is being made inside of the service.
That's cool.
But what I do know from my sources is that the investments that the service has been making in technology going back a number of years now are just now starting to pay dividends. And many more disputed matters should be able to be reconciled with a certain level of speed that hasn't been seen in the past.
That's cool.
So,
I gotta admit, compared to last year, sorry to interrupt, that
no.
People were struggling a lot longer on the subreddit.
Oh yeah.
And this year, I gotta tell you, it quieted up overnight. All of a sudden, like, it's back to a well-behaved Reddit. People aren't starting fights. You know, it just everyone's cool again, asking honest questions, getting solid answers, throwing up a funny meme every now and then, and it's kind of So it's that I got to agree with you. I feel like that is the case this year. Hey, so I've heard this tip. You tell me if this is a good idea. So someone that's really counting on the deposit, the refund at the end of the year, what if they just like get a little bit extra withheld on the check? Like, if they can afford it, get $10 extra withheld so that they have a bigger refund to look forward to. Would you recommend that, or would you say just keep the money?
I would say that there's certain, refundable credits that are valuable to parents with young children that aren't earning above the poverty level or at the poverty level, or even as much as up to 400% of the poverty level. And those, of course, are the child tax credits and the earned income credits in particular. I said, that aside, if you're a W-2 employee and you're receiving a wage for your work and you're having income taxes withheld from your wages, it can seem to make sense from a cash flow perspective, if you wanted to have a refund at the end of the year, to have more income tax withheld from your pay every pay cycle. And that way you're pleasantly surprised at the end of the year when you get that refund.
If you can afford it.
If you can afford it, right.
Yeah.
But, that's, you're essentially giving the United States Treasury an interest-free loan.
True.
That's what you're doing when you but you're also on the flip side, you're creating a forced kind of sort of savings environment for yourself. assuming that when you get to tax time, you're not unpleasantly surprised with something else that you may have overlooked, like a stock sale or something
Sure.
that you made a lot of money on.
Well, I guess I had a good friend in college, and he had a hard time taking his paycheck and physically putting it in the bank, and so he just put like an extra $10 every check in, and that's how. And then when he got the refund, then he would take whatever he could and put it in savings, and it seemed like it was a way of forcing him to save. That
Yeah.
And I just figure that, like, I've always wondered, like, is that a good idea? I mean, of course you're going to recommend just put it in a bank, but we're talking about a guy with a busy life, and he just didn't really have enough wherewithal to be that organized. And I just think like a little quick tip like that might be the thing that helps people out or not. It was just something quick worth talking about. And excuse me, this is mostly in reference to a lot of the other comments on the original thread that we got, asking for questions. So a lot of it was like, hey, where's my taxes? Hey, I'm waiting for 2 verifications on a piece of paper. And you've already addressed that, how it's like this year I feel like it is agreeable. We are getting quicker turnarounds on refunds and returns. But we're going to go to you. We did get one interesting question. And I mean, you're a deep dive tax guy. You're about the nuanced, hard problems. People are coming to you with daunting things and crying and shedding their tears and being like, please save me, my life is over, I can't sleep at night. So but we got a question sort of like that. At least it's a complicated enough question that I can't answer it. So you took a chance to look at that. Maybe here I'll take a quick second here and I've got it pulled up here, and I'll just go ahead and read it, and we'll do a shout out here quick. Give me 1 second. It's from HRJR Jeb. I hope I'm saying that right. And he posted it 4 days ago. Sorry it's taken so long for us to get back to you, Jeb. And Jeb says, hello, I received a student loan repayment award of about $10K through a state nonprofit program. The program is saying I must pay taxes and this award because it does not meet the criteria under student loan repayment assistance on page 38 of IRS publication 970. Yikes. It does seem like the award should be excluded from my total gross income based on the introduction of Chapter 5, page 37 of publication 970, as the loan was for post-secondary education expenses. Does anyone here have any experience dealing with this type of issue? Thank you. And man, after reading that word salad, I gotta say, I bet that's a question for JohnRDundon. So, John, what do you got for me? I'm coming back to your video.
Okay, well, that's a great question. I think that the person that posted that should start by recognizing that there's a difference between a loan repayment award and a student loan debt that's been canceled. Those are two very separate and distinct things in the eyes of the tax code. And publication 970 does appear conflicting on pages 37 and 38. And the fact of the matter is that a student loan repayment award can be excluded from gross income if, generally speaking, the award was made for very specific health-related reasons. And I'm going to read to you the 3 bullet points from so that we all understand them. And they distill down to the award, the student loan repayments made to you are tax-free if received if received them for any of the following: the National Health Services Corporation Loan Repayment Program, the NHSC Loan Repayment Program, a state education loan repayment program eligible for funds under the Public Health Services Act, which is a very specific act related to health, delivery of health care. And then the 3rd bullet point is any other student loan repayment or loan forgiveness program that is intended to provide for the increased availability of health services in underserved health professional shortage areas as determined at the state level. And so it gets very nuanced and specific whether or not those awards are excluded from taxable income or not based on state regulations in the state that you're in. Subsequently to that, however, a loan that is forgiven is a student loan that is forgiven is not subject to taxable income at all in any regard, as per page 37 of publication 970.
Thanks, John. That was great. Say, you've been putting up a lot of solid content on the top of the IRS subreddit, and I got to say thanks for that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be there.
Thank you. It's well received, but I gotta say you really put up a good one this most recent one, and I'd like it if you could take a few minutes, take however much time you need to go through it, any way you wish. I don't know if you need that open or if you need to share that in front of us. Or
yeah, let me share the screen with you, and while I'm doing that, let me just provide a quick commentary. There's a lot of very interesting things happening inside of the service. The investments in technology that have been made over the course of the last couple of years, really, and going back into the previous presidential administration, in actuality, are starting just now to pay dividends, and it's been fascinating to watch. One of the biggest things here is a new IRS tool that's out to help quickly resolve disputed matters with the service. And what I'm trying to do is share my screen, and evidently I need one quick minute to do.
Next to the three dots.
Yeah, I got it. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Hey, in the meantime, we can just keep. I got a quick one to you. So, would you recommend people that just have like a W-2, they got their employer, or they got more than one job, 3 jobs, whatever? It's all just employment pay. Would you recommend they get to a point as quickly as possible where they're just submitting their own taxes on the IRS website?
Yeah, most definitely, particularly if they're making under $73,000 a year in income. That they can use a free file service, one of many different free file services that are available on the IRS. And technology is just beginning to really get some traction and make some moves that we have very high hopes for, that will help process all sorts of disputed matters much more efficiently. What I'd like to do is just talk real briefly today about a new tool that the IRS came out with just a couple of weeks ago. Now they rolled it out, and it's so new that I even haven't had a chance to give it a real life test run yet, because I haven't encountered a situation that requires this. But what I'm referring to is the post that's pinned to the top of the group. A new IRS tool is available to help quickly resolve specific IRS issues. And there's a link directly to the tool. And it's a fascinating new page on the irs.gov website. It's an application that requires you to, make sure that you're using the service for authorized purposes only. And you start by just sort of clicking on, yes, you're willing to use this for the authorized purpose of trying to figure out what exactly is holding up any one of a number of different related problems that you might have, from combat zone status to where's my refund, to why is there a dispute with my premium tax credits or my child tax credits or my earned income tax credits. And there's a number of different notices that you get, all with varying numbers in the upper right-hand corner of that notice, from the CP04 to the CP75D. And this tool right now is available to help reconcile these sort of disputed matters by allowing you to upload additional documentation that's required to process your tax return. And the fascinating thing about it is that once you disclose that you're investigating for bona fide reasons, and you understand the privacy statement, you can just go ahead and click OK. You're going to get to this page right here. And what's going to happen is that on any one of these letters that arrive from the CP04 to the CP75, going forward, there's going to be an access code on the letter. You plug that code in to this updated documentation upload tool portal, and you can go back all the way to tax year 2016. So if you have a disputed matter going back to 2016, you might be able to, and you get a notice, you might be able to take advantage of this tool. And then the other two items that you enter, is your first name, your last name, and your social security number. This is all encrypted. This is all secure, and you should be good to go.
That's unreal.
Oh yeah, and the fascinating thing about it is that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different letters that you might get that you can use this tool for now. And I think the most fascinating thing about it is two things. Down here under best of all, you'll see you're going to receive a confirmation when the IRS actually gets the documents that you upload. So you're going to know that that it's not going into an empty hole. And then the second thing that I found absolutely fascinating was that there is going to be a specific live person, not a bot, that is assigned to your file.
Wow.
And this case manager will be responsible for these transmitted documents and be responsible for shepherding this file through, we're told, to some degree of closure. And to me, that's a monumental step forward for the service.
Just based on reading people's posts and stuff and what they're going through, that is huge. I can tell that. And I've never had to go through that experience, thankfully, but wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So
go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, it's so new that I haven't had a chance to test it yet. So
sure.
I am going to be particularly curious. Anyone that does get a notice with the code in question and uses this service, I'd be curious to get feedback from the user community how this is working. And it's
John, really?
Sure.
Let me interrupt really quick. What is that code?
So the issue is there's going to be an access code.
I see. Okay.
And the access code is a 10-digit alphanumeric code provided to you on the very specific letter that either the CP04 letter, the CP05A, the CP06, the CP06A, the CP08, the 09, the 75, the 75A, and the 75D.
Okay, folks. So make sure you comment in any situation where you're seeing this and let us know what you're going through. Seems like new ground, but it seems like a fantastic, powerful set of tools.
Yeah, specifically what I'd be curious to know is how long the turnaround time is before you get a confirmation email, or any kind of sort of confirmation, any sort of confirmation in any regard, because right now we're even uncertain as to what kind of communication, how they're going to be specifically communicating with you. It's been unclear. Right now, we're of the opinion that it's not going to be email, it's probably going to be US mail. So there's going to be a bit of a lag time.
Sure.
But we're curious to know how long of a lag time that's going to be, and whether or not when you get that notice, if a specific IRS employee is going to be identified and their contact information is going to be made available.
It seems like email would just be the smartest way to do things, doesn't it? But unless you need something legally certified, I mean, I don't think, if you're buying a property these days, you're barely actually signing your name,
Yeah, well, that is so true. And normally I would agree 100% with that sentiment. However, the balancing act that needs to go on here is the fact that, I'm just a small tax practice. We have 8 people here, and we are routinely targeted every single day, spear phishing attacks. And
really?
As a result, multiple times a day. I have one person solely responsible for data security and integrity, and I pay that person very well to protect my data, my customers' data, and our security. And we have very rigid protocols about how to comport ourselves, whether or not to click on links, and what we need to do when an email arrives with a link from both a known and unknown source. So, we're small potatoes compared to the IRS. The IRS gets attacked routinely.
I bet they do.
So their data security is, as a result, certain people are entitled to communicate to the outside world from the IRS via email. And oftentimes, when cases get very tenuous and time sensitive and involve litigation, oftentimes communications happen at a very high level between very sort of large dollar cases that are time sensitive via email and phone call. But for routine tax credit matters, refund matters, even exam matters, the IRS's standard operating procedure is to not communicate with the taxpayers via email.
Gotcha.
The other reason why, but their number one explanation why, besides being targeted for spearfishing, is that it's very easy to mimic what the IRS looks like, and very easy to present oneself as an IRS revenue agent demanding money using the logo and using technologies that are beyond my pay grade in creating this perception that they're actually from the IRS making a demand for payment.
Well,
so it's a slippery slope to navigate.
I got a pretty interesting quick story about something along these lines. A friend of mine, he had a basic website up, just your Squarespace type thing for his for his construction company, and through the I don't want to knock Squarespace. A Squarespace-like company. I'm not sure if it was even Squarespace. I just know he had an unsecured website. Hackers got in, got a hold of his billing, sent bills to his clients to have them paid electronically. One of his clients paid a $75,000 bill that they accessed from his own billing system and just sent it, and the guy didn't even think about it and just wire transferred $75,000 into the ether and didn't even think about it, all through an unsecured, hey, here's my company, this is my website. Just kind of unreal, but yeah, that was a $75,000 kick to the teeth for just not having a secure website. And I got to tell you, just on the subreddit, all the scams and cons and everything, and at the point now where we have a fascinating new wave with just bots and situations like that are just swarming in there.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's also good bots who are just posting like solid information from websites that aren't ridiculous. It's going to be a wild world out here in the next 5 years, and we're not going to know it's real. So it only makes sense that they're just going to send you a letter. Makes 100% sense. If anybody should be putting something in writing, it should be the IRS. Now that more I think about it. So.
Yeah. Right. So there you go.
Is there anything else you want to share about this post? Because it really does kind of just seem like the New Testament as far as IRS law. Are we no longer reading from the Torah? We now have the New Testament, the new word. This is where we're going to be. It's going on to the internet, the YouTubes. We're going to have a lot of people confused about using the IRS app now. There's going to be some new IRS.gov app that's going to freak people out.
Yeah. Is there anything to add to that? I mean, look, you got to embrace change. This is change. I think it's going to be change for the positive. The jury's still out. They're deeming it safe. They're deeming it secure. They're deeming it, protected. So with this multi-factor authentication and the code that you're receiving only addressed to you, it should be relatively secure, and I have very high hopes for it.
I do too. I hope so, because we're seeing thousands of people that need help here, and well, that's great, John. So, John, I don't know if you got the notifications. Been trying to work out with other Reddit contributors and people on the subreddit who are just machines, man. I gotta tell you, we've talked about these people, these contributors, and there's like MileHighTaxLady. It sounds like she might be local to the area of the country you're in. She is a machine.
MileHighTaxLady?
Yeah, Kaiju Booper. There's a few people there.
Kaiju Booper, yeah.
A few other people. I wish I didn't pull up the list, but you guys are all awesome. And I sent like 5 of them. These things happen. I sent about like 5 people, including you, status to do a new thing that just happened on Reddit called Reddit Talk, and it's similar to Twitter Talk, which is basically kind of like just an audio-based Zoom meeting. It's similar to Twitter Talk in the sense where, like, let's say you wanted to parlay out some information on any given subject onto the subreddit, and people then you'd basically put out an invite. I haven't seen it; it's that new, and no one's done it yet. And then people can join for the talk, and then they can ask to like raise their hands if they have questions. And I just wanted to let you know, like, it's another conduit. If you're interested in that, maybe take a look at that. Maybe try give a Reddit Talk a try. Go to the window quick here. And I don't know if you're gonna. I'm not necessarily sharing this to you, but it's just let's talk. And basically, it's just a situation where you've got everyone's icons. You know, like John, I think you've got a fun icon, a little Reddit guy. And people basically just be listening to your audio. It'd be a streamed live audio similar to a webcast, or I'm sorry, a podcast. And I just wanted to make you aware of that's a new option on Reddit, and then to kind of just shout out to anybody that's watching this from the subreddit. If you're a contributor and I haven't caught you, or you're just that good because everyone loves you, and I don't need to take a look at the questionable content that people are putting on your posts, give me a shout. I'd love to get you on. I'd love to just get information to get people that are literally coming on Reddit just to find out basic stuff about the taxes and nothing else. It'd be great to just have, like, you know, regular experts just putting the word out. So yeah, are you interested in something like that? Maybe if we find cause, or if you find something interesting to talk about. All right, cool, man. Well,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
this first episode went really well. Hopefully this helps out a lot of people. Like, subscribe, comment, irritate, be mean. No, be nice. Number one rule. And thanks for joining us. Thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, you bet.
Oh,